Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Becky.
We are registered dietitians that are passionate about food as medicine.
In today's video, we are going to be talking about perfecting your protein shake, signs of protein deficiency, and whipping up a delicious orange Dreamsicle protein shake.
So unfortunately, protein deficiency is all too common, and we see it throughout the entire lifespan. Children can have difficulty taking in protein based on taste aversions or just picky palates, or the snack industry overfeeding them with refined processed carbohydrates. And we can see this all the way through aging. You know, the busy teenager not stopping to eat protein or snacking, or moms that are busy focusing on their kids and not self-caring and stopping to cut and eat a lot of the protein foods we think of taking more time to consume. And then in the elderly population, based on difficulty chewing or swallowing, or those taste aversions that can occur with nutrient deficiencies. We also see specialty diets as factors of protein deficiency, so vegan and vegetarian population, as well as the ketogenic diet for individuals that are following that perfect macro wheel. Often they're consuming too much fat and inadequate protein, and we can see really significant deficiency symptoms.
Yeah, I think our blog entitled The Power of Protein has been one of our all-time most popular because this is all too common. So one of the things we see kind of happening first is either hair loss, which we'll often think of maybe thyroid dysfunction or something going on hormonally, but actually it's very, very common to see hair falling out due to inadequate protein intake. And then our skin and our nails can also suffer. So if we're seeing cracking, brittle nails, or maybe our skin is more sallow and dry and just doesn't have that life to it, oftentimes that's a sign of protein deficiency as well.
Yes, and I notice personally when I'm not getting enough protein, muscle aches. So this is a symptom that's very common as well. Muscle aches may be in your more macro or larger muscle groups like your bicep or your quadriceps. And this muscle ache is actually giving you an indication that your body is auto-metabolizing or eating that muscle mass to try to get ample amino acids, the protein building blocks that your body needs for fuel. This is concerning because your body's lean mass is actually what drives your metabolism. So that muscle wasting or muscle aching can not only be painful or uncomfortable, we also can see body fat gain because we can see a lower metabolic rate.
Yes, all too often with our crash diets, for example, that will happen. And then in our elderly population, we'll often see increased risk of bone fractures. So this goes hand in hand with that muscle wasting or sarcopenia that's very common in that population.
We can also see immune impact, which can be seen through all ages. We actually need ample protein to make antibodies to respond to antigens. So this can lead to more inflammatory responses to food sensitivity, as well as not battling pathogen like virus in the body. We do need ample protein also for wound healing. So all of the mechanisms of immune function require ample protein.
Yes, and then we can also see along hand in hand with that metabolic impact, increased appetite. So protein in and of itself is going to be very satiating. And if we're not consuming that, we might be snacking or reaching more for things like refined carbohydrate snacks or just kind of grazing all day long and never feeling full.
And that protein also is thermogenic. So, if you eat 100 calories of strawberries versus 100 calories of steak, you're actually only absorbing less calories from the steak than the strawberries, and you're getting that more satiation factor, and then you're getting that protein to support the lean mass, which is why it's so important for sustainable weight loss outcomes, as well as growth and development. We see children, when they're lacking ample protein intake, will not see successful growth or development.
All right, so let's talk what goes into making a balanced protein shake. And unfortunately, there are just not very good products on the market, whether it's a prepackaged protein powder or one of the drinks that you can just snap the top off of. I'm often rescuing clients from those, unfortunately, because they're going to have a lot of stabilizers, binders, fillers, and oftentimes they have a lot of carbohydrate as well.
They can have non-caloric sweeteners as well as refined carbohydrates, industrialized toxic oils like hydrogenated soybean oil, safflower oil, and so much more. So you want to stick to whole food ingredients, and we break down 4 essential categories of perfecting your protein shake. So Becky, let's start, of course, with protein as the first essential.
Yeah, so you want to select and hone in on what protein you're going to use in your shake. So we could choose something like a full fat Greek yogurt, this is going to have about 20 grams of protein per cup. It's also going to have probiotics to support mood and immune health. And then collagen, which I think has become extremely buzzworthy, especially for its impact on hair, skin, and nails. So that would be a great choice if you're seeing hair loss or seeing those brittle nails. This is going to be also supportive of joint health, and you'd want to do about 3 to 4 scoops of collagen to equate about 20 grams of protein. And then last but not least, our grass-fed whey would be a fantastic choice. So note that this is a grass-fed whey concentrate, not an isolate. We want to watch out for those isolated proteins. It's got its immunoglobulins intact, so it's going to be very supportive of immune health. And then we also get the benefit of CLAs from that grass-fed whey, which is going to further enhance metabolism.
So all of these sources, Becky mentioned the number 20. So I just want to highlight how you would determine how much protein your body needs. Generally speaking, we recommend 0.8 to 1.4 grams per kilogram of body weight. So for a person that's 150 pounds, we would take those pounds divided by 2.2 to get the number 68. And then we would take this value and multiply that by 0.8, as well as multiplying the 68 times 1.4 to get our range of the 0.8 to 1.4. And that would give a 150 pound person a range of 55 to 95 grams of protein a day. Now this is quite wide. We'd probably narrow it on both ends and say that on average, that person would thrive getting around 70 to 90 grams of protein. We tend to go to the higher end if we're looking to make metabolic shifts or body fat loss, because again, we want to hold on to that active metabolic tissue.
Yep, and that 55 really would be probably too low for that individual. Usually in our keto program, we say, start, even if you calculate your needs to be less than that, start with at least 60 grams. So that 70, I think, is a perfect sweet spot for that individual.
All right, so y'all know that we love fat, and we are happy to always use fat as fuel to burn body fat, but also consuming healthy fats is a great way to tonify hormones and support satiety or satiation at the mealtime. So if you're concerned about sipping a protein shake and not holding over your appetite, make sure you're getting first at least those 20 grams of protein, and secondarily that you're getting ample fat. So we like to use things like nut butters. So this is almond butter here. It's a really great simple way to make a essential almond milk in your blender. So just doing 2 tablespoons of almond butter with 6 to 8 ounces of water is a great way to essentially make an almond milk without binders, fillers, or stabilizers. You could use peanut butter or tahini if you want the benefits of sesame. You could also use just nuts or seeds like macadamia nut here. You can use your coconut oil for more of a concentrated fat. And then heavy whipping cream is the fat that we'll be selecting today, which is going to count as both our liquid, the section 3, as well as our fat. Now, when Becky mentioned in the protein category the full fat Greek yogurt, note that that's the only protein option that would also kind of dip into the fat category. So you'd want to lessen your fat selection if using a protein source that has the fat in it.
And same would go for your liquid choice. So
Right.
When you're choosing a liquid base, you want to look at what you've selected for your protein, what you've selected for your fat, and kind of what makes sense there. So if you were to choose the macadamia nuts as your fat, you might actually just use water and kind of make a nut milk in your blender. Or if you were going a little bit lower on the fat scale, you could actually use the coconut milk, which is going to have some fat, and thin that with some water. Coconut water also makes a great option if you've already got some good fat in there. And I really like cold brew coffee too as a really nice boost for the day.
Absolutely. And there are some double dips, like the heavy cream and the coconut milk could technically be in the fat category, but you kind of get the overlap of the VIN, if you will. So the fourth category is enhancing your protein shake with food as medicine boosts. So we're looking at antioxidant rich, anti-inflammatory compounds. So we're looking at roots like ginger and turmeric, or herbs and seasonings and spices. So adding some fresh mint or basil or cinnamon. We'll be zesting citrus in this particular protein shake. So we're getting all these bioflavonoids, and we'll be peeling the orange and using the inside to get that pith, which has nobolin, which has been shown to be very anti-inflammatory. And this is a great way to get in your leafy greens. We really recommend 2 to 3 cups of leafy greens every single day. And again, for me as a busy mom, mom and full-time clinician, when I'm between patients, I find it so much easier to sip my greens down than to work with a fork and a knife. And often then, my eggs will get cold, or my salad doesn't get chewed, or it takes me an hour and a half to eat. And a protein shake is a really great way to get food as medicine in a simple, sipable delivery, meeting all of my body's needs. So creamy, and I love the blend of the heavy whipping cream with the coconut milk. Really nice fatty coating on the tongue, velvety smooth, and important to note that I added that grass-fed whey after all of the ingredients were blended. So anytime we're featuring a protein shake and using a non-denatured grass-fed whey, you have to be mindful it doesn't have any of those binders or stabilizers, so it will get really foamy if you add it too early in your recipe. Make sure everything's blended homogeneously, and then at the end, boop, just whip it in for like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yes, and that vanilla bean in there is really, really nice too, really rounds out the flavor. So for more balanced protein shake recipes, our Eat Fat, Get Skinny ebook is a really great resource where you can find things like our A, B, and C shake, that's almond butter and cacao, our cacao and cocoa shake, and our lean mean green shake, as well as 50 plus fat-fueled recipes.
If you like today's video, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can stay on top of our weekly releases of food as medicine goodness. Make sure you like and comment below what your favorite protein shake combination is using all 4 of our categories.
Why did you do that? Why did you just do that?
Just get the one
Just
and cut
use
it,
one
right?
for the one.
It's fine.
Just dump it back in and
Yeah,
redo it.
we do.